Hey folks, want to give you an update on what remains our favorite sector in the equity space here in 2022 in April as we are recording this, and that is energy. If you look at our market rover, our trend following tool that finds trends and trades, just a beautiful trend that the latest trend started where the green background came in. So that was in February of 2021, so more than a year ago from this point. And we remain in a bullish trend, undeterred, and that bull trend is now about 70% old, meaning if one would have bought the XLE when our market rover gave us the green light and would still hold it, which is what the market rover told us, again, still green background, then up 70% just on the XLE ETF alone. Now, I want to show you a couple things that we have been watching that gives us believe that the energy sector has more to go and still is a buy. One thing I did here is I took a very simple chart and I took the XLE, which is the candlestick chart, that's the green and red candlesticks, and I overlaid it with the actual price of oil. And you can see the price of oil after topping out in March had a pretty significant drawdown through now, or through the middle part of March and then through April. Significant to the tune of 20 or so percent, yet the XLE, again, the actual candlestick chart here, is holding in very well. So if I get rid of that, you can see how well this is holding in, even with oil having had a really significant corrective move. So that's really important, gives us reason to believe that the XLE has more upside, just like we think the OIH ETF has more upside. This is the oil services sector, looks identical to the XLE. And let's zoom out a little bit on these charts. First of all, on the OIH ETF, since we're on it right now, let's zoom out and kind of see where we are. In the bigger picture, we really haven't done a heck of a lot, and we still have a lot of potential room to go, not so much all the way back to where it was back in 2014, but we really have a lot more potential here. Certainly, we believe there's the potential for another $100 or so on the upside in the actual share price. So maybe the 400 or so is certainly possible. The XLE itself, which we looked at now, how nicely that's consolidating. If you look at that in the bigger picture, you can see we're actually at a pretty critical point. If we were to consolidate here a bit longer, ultimately we think reaching $90 or so over time. Again, this is not a time frame of the next 1 to 2 weeks, but over a period of months at $90, maybe 100, shouldn't be that difficult to attain. Now, I'm going to end on this chart here, and this is probably the most important one, and that is the relationship, or the correlation, or I guess the relative strength chart is really what it is, of the XLE, the energy sector ETF, versus the S&P 500. And what you can see is that because of that recent strength in energy and the S&P consolidating, we're continuing to get more, or a renewed rally in the energy ETF. And if you look at that on the weekly chart, and this is really probably the most bullish one out of all the stuff I just showed you, you can see that inverse head and shoulders pattern. Again, this is very similar what the OIH looks like, but this is the relative chart versus the S&P 500. So we really think the S&P 500, for example, has a very limited upside through the lens of the next 5 to 10 years on an annual basis. So we really want to look for strength, and the XLE, at least for right now, for right here, continues to give us a lot of relative strength. Hope it helps. We'll see you again soon.